The Frozen North, Episode 55. Because we love you, Nintendo.
Hello and welcome to episode number 55 of the Frozen North Gaming Podcast. My name is JJ, and
And he's on here with his two co-hosts. Howdy, y'all! My name's Mark.
And Mark, my name's Brian, by the way, but when I am on Steam and I'm playing South Park, and I say, oh, hey, Mark, looks like you're trying out the paces of your new graphics card on Skyrim, and you don't respond, it hurts my heart.
I have no memory of this.
It could be his fiance on there too.
Oh, was Shanna playing Skyrim?
She probably wouldn't ignore you though. She's nice.
But I even complimented you. I said, Mark, I go, that's a great game to put, the GTX 970.
Man, look at you guys.
The GTX 970 through its paces, and then no one responded, and I was sad.
I just don't remember that happening.
Okay, well, it did.
So maybe I was
rude,
getting a drink or something.
Inconsiderate.
But like the text
You realize
screen
it
stays
blinks.
up.
It probably was like I was probably playing, and then something blinked. I'm like, oh, and I just hit.
You're like, no.
I just hit
probably
shift tab, and
I
I
am
hit
looking
shift
at-
tab again.
He was like, I am looking at Esbern right now.
That's
I cannot
probably
be.
true.
I cannot.
No,
be
I
ignored.
released Esbern.
I'm adventuring with Asbard. Leave me alone.
I let Esbern go.
Okay.
Oh boy.
How is that new GTX 970?
It's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, it just really is a great card. Except possibly the VRAM leak. But anyway, I'm Brian. That's JJ. That's Howdy Y'all Mark. That's his actual name.
That's right. That is my name.
That's on his birth card. It says Howdy Y'all Mark.
I'm going to register a new Twitter account now.
Episode 55, guys.
5-5.
5-5.
Mark,
you have any fun facts to say about 55?
That's 5 times more than 11.
Yeah.
Touche.
And if we do this, if we do 100% more episodes, we'll be on episode 110.
Yeah.
Yep.
But 2 episodes before that, we'll do a Suikoden special for episode 108.
Absolutely.
I don't know. What's the relevance?
You think that... Is that too many episodes?
The
Brian?
relevance
I've never
is-
collected 108 stars. I always collect like 70-ish.
So you think we should do it at like 70?
70-ish, one of those.
We'll release an episode 70-ish.
Around 70, 80, whatever.
That's
However
not
many
a
you
bad
feel
idea.
like.
Oh man. So what have you guys been playing? You know what? I'm going to start. Boom.
JJ, what have you been playing?
That's right. I have been playing Dragon Age Inquisition like crazy.
You're making me want to play it, so
my
stop talking
gosh.
about it.
It is so fun. It is a completionist dream. Like, you go into a new zone, you look at a map, and it just has tons of points of interest on there. And you basically go there, you find a quest, you find an item, you find people looking for help, or just a new zone or something like that. I mean, it's just so cool. And I love exploration, and that's what it is.
Didn't this game win the most Game of the Year awards for 2014?
It may have.
I think the Inquisition was the top dog there.
How do they quantify that?
I don't know.
So, like, if I gave it a Game of the Year award, is that going to add
counts
into their
as one.
total?
I honestly don't know.
I think it's industry wide.
Either way, it's definitely going to be up there for mine. Before this, it was Mario Kart 8 was going to be up there. As weird as that sounds, but I just freaking love that game. And then this one though is giving it a run for its money at this point, so it's going to be close. We'll see.
Yeah.
And then I started playing Radiant Historia on the DS, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's very, very interesting. I'm not very far into it, so I can't really say too much about it. But
Delve deeply.
It's fun. And then obviously World of Warcraft.
Yep.
So
Weekly raid or bi-weekly raids.
Yep.
Terrible.
Why is that terrible?
No reason.
Oh, well, that's logic right there.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Go.
Mark, what have you been playing? Nothing? Okay, Brian.
Whoa!
See, I can do it too.
Bam.
All right, go ahead, Brian.
Well, Mark,
He's like, no, really.
Mark, I know you've been playing Skyrim.
Yeah, I've played a little bit of Skyrim.
Yeah,
I played a lot more Rust than anything, really.
Yep.
I bought that 3 to 4 weeks ago, and it's a completely different game now than it was when I bought it just that short time ago. They've done an update every Friday, added new features. They've now got... So it's like an open-world survival multiplayer game, and they've now got rad towns, which are these irradiated towns that spawn on the map that you kind of have to go into and search for supplies. And if you're not careful, if you don't go really fast, you die from radiation poisoning.
Yeah.
So I've been playing that, and I've also been playing Dreamfall Chapters finally, which is fantastic. It's just like the rest of the trilogy, really. If you haven't played it, if you haven't played any of them,
I know, you're looking at me. I know.
you need to,
I know.
because they're fantastic.
Oh, man.
But
I will eventually. You know how big my backlog is?
Yeah.
Man.
I got a sizable backlog as well.
That it?
yep, that's it.
Brian.
I have been playing. I've been running two nights a week a raid in World of Warcraft with my friend JJ. A bunch of my real life friends actually. Most of the raiders are real life friends.
Matt's been playing with us, too.
Yeah, Matt, Brandon, my friend Whit out in Virginia.
Your bro.
My bro, his friend Logan, my friend Logan, and then South Park: Stick of Truth. And I'm well known. I love really funny games. David Schaefer, aka Tim Schaefer, back when DOS was in its heyday, one of my favorite games of all time is Day of the Tentacle, which, by the way, is coming to Godel Games.
I did see that.
Yeah. I honestly recommend you guys playing it. It is one of the funniest games I ever played until I started playing South Park: Stick of Truth. Holy crap, did they make that game authentic?
It's like playing a show.
It's fantastic. I'm probably a little less than halfway through, and I'm just loving every minute of it. I'm getting on Steam and seeing Mark playing games, talking to him, and he's not responding back. And so
Pretty terrible.
yeah.
You're welcome.
Unbelievable.
Thank you.
I'll
Anyway.
respond to you.
I'm just kidding, man. I know how it is. Sometimes you're wrapped up in a game, or you're maybe away from the computer, and you just and you just don't care about your friends.
Yes.
I know how it is when you just don't care about anybody else.
I try to defend myself more, but I do generally ignore those chats.
Oh, I understand. Well, I mean,
Terrible.
honestly, but I can't argue with him because sometimes when I'm playing a game, somebody will talk to me, and I'm like, man, I'm immersed right now. I don't really want to pause, type. So while I like those chat things, I'm not always. But then what I do to combat that is I'll do the do not disturb thing on Steam.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's true.
Yep.
All right. Well, Mark, if somebody wants to email us, where can they go?
FrozenNorthPodcast@gmail.com.
Excellent. Brian, what's our Facebook?
It's Facebook.com/thefrozennorth.
At FN Podcast.
Is our Twitter.
And that was a throwback last episode.
It's a throwback from 2 weeks ago. Man, you're bringing up those retro memories.
We're doing the
yes.
Facebook. It's Facebook.com/thefrozennorth.
You got it.
Yeah.
Twitter is at FN Podcast, as Mark said. Our blog is frozennorthpodcast.blogspot.com. We have a website at fngaming.net. We're looking to do a little revamping on the message board side.
Yeah. We're looking at setting up a subreddit because we're going to be moving hosts to a more stable host, hopefully.
Yeah, we were having issues with our site, kept going down.
Because I'm
really annoying.
I'm the admin, that's why. Because I don't know what I'm doing. So we're going to like a managed host.
All right, cool. And we're on iTunes.
Yep,
Frozen North.
That's right.
Subscribe to, rate
And
us.
rate us, yeah.
Tell us what you think. What you like, what you don't like.
Yep.
Okay, so real quick, we are actually... Obviously, we do an episode every 2 weeks, but in 2 weeks, I will be literally just getting back from my cruise. A week from today, which today is Saturday, I will be getting on a boat. Oh, I can't wait. It's going to be awesome.
You'll be in the
And we're all super jealous.
Yeah.
I'm stoked. And I'm really excited because the oatmeal is going to be there, which is sweet.
Nice.
I'm a really, really big fan. So we're not going to be doing an episode where it's basically going to be, man, that's one of the things that bugged me about doing it every 2 weeks. That's going to be a whole month off, essentially.
Yep.
So
hiatus.
sorry about that. But Mark actually has been working on a little side project.
That's right.
And he's going to tell us a little bit about that now.
All right, so I'm starting up a new project called the Fool's Lantern Podcast. It's a podcast all about television. We're going to start with a 5-episode run where we're going to go through the TV series Fargo, 2 episodes at a time. Basically, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about TV tropes, and we're going to force ourselves to watch a really horrible TV show once an episode and talk about that as well.
You know how I know Mark is serious about this and how I know it's going to be good?
Why?
Well, for one, because I've already listened to their rough cut of how what they wanted it to sound like, and it was great, really entertaining. but also because he just did that whole thing looking right at me without looking at any
He
notes.
has no notes.
He knows what he wants to do.
Mark.
I'm like so
That's right.
excited for this thing,
Man.
man. It's awesome.
Yeah. I
So
know.
that's how you know he's taking it seriously.
High five, Mark. High five.
That was you high-fiving yourself.
What? Why would you give that a Mark? Okay, I'm gonna move and give you a high five.
I need a real one.
Hold on,
I don't
okay.
want the...
All right. Okay.
He just lied again.
No. Okay. Come on. Real high five.
So where are they, like, basically you're going to be putting up an episode, hopefully,
Around the
typically
time
when
that
we
we
would
would-
have
Correct.
one of these up. Where would they be able to find it?
They'll be able to find it on iTunes. Just look for Fool's Lantern podcast. You can also find... It's going to be on our website, fngaming.net. And also, you can find our Twitter, @Fool's Lantern. No apostrophe in that, because they don't allow you to have apostrophes on Twitter.
So bad grammar.
Man, I'm excited.
Yeah, it's going to be
cool.
fun.
And like I said, I've listened to the rough cut of the first one, and it's good stuff. So can't wait to see what you guys do for that. We're excited.
Definitely.
Brian,
Hi.
what do we got for news?
We got a slow news week, but we got a few tidbits and scrumtrelescent crumbs here.
Is that even
What-
remotely
what
a
was
word?
Scrumtrelescent.
Scrumtrelescent.
First,
Sounds like a Crayola color.
yeah. It's, first bit of scrumtreless news is that Star Wars Rogue Squadron and more to join Good Old Games LucasArts library. Rogue Squadron, guys.
I have to make a change to my top 5.
Nice. I know exactly what you're going with.
Yep.
There's a big library right now that they're Good Old Games. So if you don't know about Good Old Games, it's GOG.com. They're a pretty pro, or what's the word I should say, anti-DRM website. So on this website, if you buy the game, it's yours. It's not. There's no DRM involved. You can literally download it on anybody's computer. There's no restrictions. They're very active on not saying once you buy the game, it's yours. You can do what you want with it. You don't have to put in a code. I like that website. It's got so many old games. Just if you, I think Day of the Tentacle just got popped up on there, which is one of my favorite old games of all time. Bought it and went straight into my backlog.
Really a dream website for anyone.
It really
that's,
is. And
that
but
considers
so
this- if you're a PC Master Race kind of
yes,
guy,
PCMR, you're at.
you have to go
They've
there.
got so many in the LucasArts library. They're starting to collect, and so Rogue Squadron's a big one that they added. They added a few others. They added Empire at War, which is the RTS, and then Star Wars Rebellion. So just head on over to GOG.com if you're looking for older games to play and some LucasArts arts games. It's a fantastic website if you are, again, a PC owner. Microsoft, on our next bit of news, is working on a little streaming from PC to the Xbox One. So, I mean, obviously, you all know that PC is, OS is Windows, which is Microsoft property. And so Microsoft announced that you can stream Xbox One titles to the Windows 10 PC. Now, Windows 10 is the caveat. You have to have Windows
Right.
10. But you can stream it to a PC or tablet in your house. So a Windows 10 tablet or Windows 10 on your PC, that's pretty cool. Really cool, actually.
Yep.
And they're also trying to make it a two-way street where you can do it vice versa, where you can stream from your computer to your Xbox One. Obviously,
they didn't officially announce that
No.
one, but they said that's something they would
that-
like to do.
Yeah, and obviously this has broader functionality beyond just gaming. There's going to be several applications that you'll be able to flip flop back and forth. But it's good on Microsoft for Mark's excited about this. I know that because he's got a
Definitely.
yeah, he's got a tablet, and I know he's got a PC at home. So
Yep.
and he's got an Xbox One. So this is pretty much just good news all around for Xbox.
Basically
One
means
owners.
every TV, every screen in my house is
Xbox One
equal
capable.
now.
Yep.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, so that's big news coming down from the Microsoft headquarters, and then so there's a game that I've been tracking for years now. I think Mark might know about this a little bit, but Star Citizen.
We've all been tracking this
Star
one,
Citizen. They're expected to reach 100 million in funding by
Insane.
the time it. So we all have been talking about No Man's Sky. Well,
Right.
this actually might beat it to the gate Like, honestly, this game is so massive. So, to give you a little bit of perspective on what this game is, they're releasing this game in basically phases because they're going to be betaing. This game is so massive that they've got to split the beta up. So, how it's going to work is, first of all, this is from Wing Commander creator Chris Roberts.
Yep.
And there are target release date, launch dates for each phase of the game. So when you say, what do you mean by phase? Isn't it just a space sim? Okay, not only is this a space sim, they're going to have to release... So there's a planet-side component to this, a first-person shooter component. And that's the first thing that's going to be released. I think that's coming out this spring. So this game's going to feature a very realistic, shoot down to the planet, have a little battle. And then followed by an Arena Commander 2.0 ships in the summer. And then also the first episode of the 42 mission story-based component will be released in the fall. And then I think they're right now close to 70 million, and they're projecting by the time the game goes public to be at $100 million
Insane.
in funding.
That's
And
crazy.
have you seen some of the
the
videos they've released?
Oh my god.
Their ships are like, I hate to use this word because it's overused, but
Yeah.
photorealistic.
Yes.
It's going to really be pushing our PCs.
And it's just got so many facets. I think this game is starting to shoot up my list on most anticipated game ever. I'm a huge space sim nerd. I played all the space sims back in the day, Orion, all kinds of... Is that stuff space?
The Mass Effect trilogy.
And the Mass Effect trilogy.
Not
But,
quadrilogy?
Yeah. But Mark, I know that we're all excited about it. I know Mark specifically,
Oh, yeah.
you've been tracking Star Citizen.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. That's it for news, though, guys. But honestly, it was a slow week, so we got bigger things to talk about in our podcast today. We got Nintendo podcast, and I think we're all Nintendo's babies.
Definitely. All right. Yep. So we're doing a Beyond the Game on Nintendo, as Brian said. Basically, like, if you've listened to the last few episodes, every now and then I'll kind of come in with a cheap shot or something about Nintendo's one of their wonderful sales tactics that make no sense whatsoever. And we figured, why not just, do a segment on it and kind of just get everything out there.
Air out our grievances with Nintendo.
Right.
Because all of us are very close in age, so we all grew up in I would call the heyday of Nintendo.
Yep.
Which was the early 90s, just when they were the dominant, that's why our parents still say, would you like to buy a Nintendo?
Yeah.
When they don't mean Nintendo, because
Right.
Nintendo used to be the premier name in gaming, and that's what we all grew up with. And that
It was like if you buy window cleaner, everybody calls it Windex.
correct.
That's
were-
how it was back
Yeah,
then.
and I feel like they've lost so much luster and momentum, and we're trying to figure out what they did, why they fell off the why Sony is crushing them when Sony broke into the market during their heyday. Sony was a little guy at one point, so we're frustrated.
Well,
with
there was a little guy when it comes to gaming.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're just frustrated with I think the direction Nintendo goes, and because Nintendo is such a big part of our childhood. I think it's kind of like, you're damn it, guys, come on, stop doing this weird stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 100%.
Yep.
Well, I mean, let's start by identifying what we think the major... well, you know what? Let's start, how about we start from the beginning? What do we love about Nintendo?
Yeah. Yep.
The games.
Yeah.
Definitely.
100%.
I'm still... I love their games just as much as I did when I was a kid.
Their franchises are probably the strongest IPs that I know of.
Absolutely.
No game's going to be better than a Zelda, in my eyes. Like, I'm not talking about the actual game, but just the cachet of that name. A Mario game. We all know that's going to be a world beater. Star Fox franchise. Their franchises are so powerful,
And they're iconic.
Yeah, absolutely.
What else?
I honestly like that they try things. They
think outside the box.
Think outside the box. I think that's also a double-edged sword for them lately.
Oh, yeah.
But I like that. I'll never fault a company for trying something new, because we have a lot of stagnation in the gaming world, because that's what makes money. Is trying just rehashing the same thing, and companies that are like, you know what, I'm going to try something new, and it may fail completely. That's what taking a risk is.
Absolutely.
But I always appreciate companies doing that. I think Nintendo, at least, that's something that they are not shy about doing. It's like, hey, we're going to try something.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
You got anything to add?
Nope.
All right. Okay, so why don't we dig into what we think the issues are? I mean, let's talk about like when we think they're kind of, I don't want to say downfall, but where the problems, the patterns that we're seeing now kind of started to come into play. For me, I think it was right around when the Nintendo 64 came out. Granted, the Nintendo 64 is a great system. Obviously, it had some amazing games. Mario 64, Zelda, Ocarina of Time, unbelievable. But that whole deal, Sony was initially going to make a disk drive for them, and I honestly don't know the details, so I can't say. Looking back on it now, knowing now what I know about how Nintendo runs their business and how strong they are in keeping their traditions and stuff like that, I can kind of see why they would have done that. But at the same time, what were you thinking? You know, everything that Sony's doing right now, who knows? That could have been Nintendo.
Yeah.
You know, and
It's like Nintendo created their own worst enemy.
Yeah.
With Sony.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there was a fallout. I don't know. I honestly don't know what happened, but there's probably some info on the internet about it, and I would imagine most of it's probably speculation, because I highly doubt they would, you know, release all that info on there. But to let something like that go, you know, and I kind of noticed it when I saw Final Fantasy VII go to the PlayStation, because
that was Final Fantasy, was the Nintendo.
Yeah, I was like, man, I love Final Fantasy on the Super Nintendo. Wait, what? PlayStation?
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
What? And then I played Twisted Metal 2, and I was like, well, I'm getting a PlayStation anyways.
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, what do you guys think? Where do you think it stems from?
GameCube. The GameCube hit Nintendo pretty hard. It was not a success. I think they panicked after the GameCube, because as you know, the Wii is barely more powerful than the GameCube, right? Mm-hmm. They were kind of the leading company up until they dropped the GameCube. You know, it was always like, what's the next Nintendo console, right? Oh my gosh. But yeah, the GameCube it fell flat. Like, it really did. I owned one. I love, like I said, I've been a faithful Nintendo fan for years. But even I could see kind of like,
I really never understood why the GameCube didn't sell that well, though. I had one. I loved it.
Yeah. I think I can't.
That was around the time the Xbox came out.
Yes.
I wonder if there was just more of a push towards the edgier, darker games, and
at least here
GameCube
in the U.S.
was perceived as like this more kid
but one of their
console. I know there's certain people that hate when people say it's a console for kids, but
let me refute you on that, though, because some of the games that came out for that GameCube were darkest games I've ever seen Nintendo do.
That's true.
Eternal
Darkness?
Eternal Darkness, number 1, and then the Zelda game that came out.
Is that the Dennis Dyack game?
I think so. And then the Zelda game that came out, Twilight Princess, probably the darkest Zelda game they'd ever made.
Well, in all honesty, I mean, for me personally, I never even started. Like, I mean, I knew the characters and stuff like that, but the Wii was when I first started looking at Nintendo as the family friendly, the kid friendly console. Yeah. I'd never even looked at the GameCube like that, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. I just know the GameCube didn't do well.
In GameCube's defense, there's also. Did you say Metroid Prime yet? Because that's another perfect example of a really dark, atmospheric game.
But don't you like? So I think the GameCube was like they're okay. We're gonna make games for hardcore gamers, right? And they started making these really darker, more edgy games. And this is 100% conjecture on my part. I think that it didn't do well, and they were like, well, we make games for kids. Let's just stick to that. I think that was we can't compete with the Xbox, Microsoft, and Sony in the edgy game. And this is, like I said, this is 100% my opinion, but we went from a shift of the GameCube was a gamer system. Like, seriously, Resident Evil 4, for example. I mean, all these games were phenomenal games that are still to this day like impactful. Like Resident Evil 4 stands out to be one of the best Resident Evils ever made. But
I remember when it came out, man.
Yeah, it was fantastic. My friend, I remember playing World of Warcraft with my roommate Mike, and all I would hear was that damn guy with the guns who's like, "How are you? What you buying?" That's all. I just hearing that all the time. But I think that the low sales. I think sometimes companies read into things wrong. Like, they don't look at it from our perspective. They're just like, "Oh, we made a hardcore system for hardcore gamers, and it didn't sell well. Let's go back to making a fun family system."
Well, here's another thing to think about. When did Nintendo stop being the platform for third-party games? Because they don't have the same quantity of third-party games as the other two consoles.
I think a big hit of that was the Square deal. Yeah. When Nintendo decided to stick with cartridges over going disc-based.
Yeah.
And I think, actually, to go even further with that, I think the format issue came into play again with the GameCube when they had their mini discs, which don't hold as much data. And it also meant that in the time that DVD players were becoming really popular, it was the one console that didn't have a DVD player.
Those were all huge factors. I mean, sure, you're like, well, I can buy a PS2, and that's a DVD player, and also video game player, like it's all universal, or I can buy a GameCube that just plays games. You know, I don't know. I did think there's a lot of things working against the GameCube, but I think after the GameCube, Nintendo kind of shifted its thought process. They were like, well, let's just go this way. You know, we didn't do well here, so let's shift our ideas here to.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate because of that, they kind of have this stigma now where exactly what you're saying. The people look at it and they think kid games. They think, Nintendo likes to say it's for everyone, but you see these cutesy graphics and I made an example to Mark a while ago. Like if you were to take Disney, Universal, and what's another, Lionsgate, and say, all right, we need one of these three companies to make a kids movie for us. Who would be the best choice out of those three?
Right.
It's going to be Disney, obviously. Sure. Disney is essentially the Nintendo of movies.
Although Disney's done a really
Nintendo's
good...
the Disney of video
Disney's
games.
done what Nintendo can't do, which is Disney's really started working on changing their image a little bit. I mean, obviously, they picked up Marvel, picked up Star Wars, which is totally older generation stuff, and so they still do their kid stuff, but they haven't forgotten about the kids that grew up with Disney, right? So with Nintendo, I feel like they just kind of forgot about the generation like us. They were like, well, you guys are grown up now, we're going to keep it here. Yep. Like they have not grown up with us. They've just kind of stayed back in the 90s. And it's like, well, we're all grown up now, Nintendo, give us something that we like too. Like we get, I don't mind companies making games for kids. That's the point. You want to get an audience.
They have a mentality. It's like, well, this has worked for us in the past, so we're going to stick with it. It's like, okay, well, we're not in the past.
And what's really funny is if you look at like you have the baby boom where after World War II, a huge swath of babies were born, right? Well, think about it. It's the same kind of graph. You have that Nintendo's heyday in the 90s, right, where all us kids were Nintendo fans and our parents knew nothing but Nintendo. Well, now we're way over here, right? And Nintendo's over here where they have a smaller market. And so they're wondering why their sales are down. It's because your big, huge fan base, which has grown up now, is feeling left out. At least I'm not speaking for everybody. At least I feel like that. I feel like, hey, make us something that make more Zelda games or something, or do something that we like.
I have an idea actually. I'm kind of curious, Mark. I'm gonna have you step out for a second.
Okay.
We got our buddy Brandon here. I know we've mentioned a couple of times. Actually, I'm gonna have him sit in real quick because I want to ask him a couple of questions.
Sure, that's a great idea.
He is putting on the headset for the first time.
He's sitting down. And now he's looking.
Don't touch my tablet.
Don't touch Mark's tablet.
I wasn't going to touch it.
Wow. Mark is protective of that.
Brandon, what's going on, man?
Not a whole lot. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. So you typically, based on, I mean, you've been here a handful of times when we recorded. You know the kind of games we talk about, story focused, basically like anything. You typically like competitive gaming, essentially. Correct. I guess is the best way to say it. You're really big into Halo. Mm-hmm. I don't know that you're huge into Call of Duty, but I know you've played it a little bit.
Not anymore. I used to be. Not so much.
Right. But basically online shooters, anything where you can play against other people is what you're into.
Correct.
You're also a huge Xbox fan, right?
Major,
unfortunately.
Yes. I think it's only because he has such a high gamer achievement point. I think if it was Switch,
probably true.
It'd be like,
I do like my achievements.
Yeah.
I can't get rid of them.
What's your Xbox gamer score?
It's over 90,000 right now.
Woo! Man. I think mine's like 700.
I think I'm 4,000 maybe.
Okay, so back to the topic. The reason I kind of want you to sit down is I'm curious from somebody who is an outside. You didn't necessarily grow up with Nintendo, really.
No, I had the original Nintendo when I was like 3 years old. I'm a few years younger than you guys.
Yeah.
And then I didn't own another Nintendo system until GameCube. And those are the only two I've ever owned.
Okay. So, being somebody who doesn't have that much experience with the company or with those systems or anything like that, what's kind of your view of that company right now? Like, what do you see when you think Nintendo?
I don't think anything, honestly. They're not a gamer's company, in my opinion. They make kid games, like what you guys said. They don't make games for the quote-unquote hardcore gamer, the adult gamer. Like, I just don't see that. The games I like to play have really good graphics, really intense gameplay, really just heavy action. And like you said, their franchises are kid franchises. Mario games, Zelda games. This is my opinion.
Like appealing to everybody because we're going to get a lot of flack for saying kids.
Yeah.
I know what you mean, though.
Yeah. It's just I don't see them trying to keep up with the other systems in terms of raw power. I mean, and it's the majority. I feel like the majority of consumers who buy games are going to be adult gamers because they have the funds and the money to do that. Kids, younger audiences, I guess I'll say.
Just say a younger audience, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
younger-
mean, honestly, I take back what I said because I'm trying to get your viewpoint of how you look at them. And actually, I remember when I bought my Wii U and I told you how excited I was. You were like, "Well, great, enjoy your kiddie system." You know,
I mean,
no,
yeah,
seriously, he
it's
did.
true.
He was giving me crap about it for a long time.
I mean, and it's just I don't. It's just not a real system in my opinion. I love the handheld, the 3DS. I love it, but for an actual console system that I play on my TV, big screen, nice HD TV, the Wii and the Wii U just don't cut it. And the Wii U, in my opinion, is essentially the same thing as the Wii. I mean, it's got a little screen on your controller. That Nintendo's all about gimmicks lately, it seems like, and that's gamers aren't dumb. They can see past that, in my opinion.
Do you feel like there's anything that they could do in order to change that image for people outside of their core gaming group or target area, I guess?
I think just make a better system. Honestly, I think it's all about the system. I know the games are good. I heard many things about the games. I don't play the games, so I don't know. I think if you make a better system with better graphics and not so much gimmick stuff, motion controls, the screen inside the controller, I think that'll bring a lot of gamers back into the system. Say, okay, well, these games look really good now. I wonder how they actually play without all the motions and forcing that on me.
Well, and I think a huge issue with the and I know Mark's not here, but he'll shake his head yes. When you make a system less powerful than the current systems, you lose a lot of third-party support. What do I mean by that? So let's say you're Ubisoft and you're wanting to make like a bleeding edge game. I know Ubisoft's been struggling this year too, but let's say you want to make a Watch Dogs game and you want to push the envelope graphically. You're gonna have to weigh whether or not you really want to make a downgraded game just for the Wii U.
I agree.
So, and the thing is, like, what's Sony and Microsoft to have going for them? Well, you have a very powerful system that all these third-party developers want to make for, right? So what can you do as a company? You can sit back and develop your IPs at your leisure. Like Sony, look at Sony. They have very few first-party IPs out right now for the PS4, but they're working on theirs. They have Uncharted 4 looks fantastic, but they don't have to worry about rushing them out really quick because they have all this third-party support that can keep their system like, oh, Grand Theft Auto's coming out for this. Oh, cool. I don't have to do anything. They're going to buy our system. These companies are going to make for our system. And then because we already have chronicled the Wii U's issue with third-party support. Nobody wants to make, there's so many games that came out for it that, we're not doing DLC for it anymore. Like, that's just blatantly saying it's not worth our time.
You're 100% right. I mean, I think you're 100% right. Like, if you've got a company like Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, yes, they have their respective games that they make as well.
Yeah.
They want to make platforms that cater to those games. But I think the difference is Sony and Microsoft are thinking about third-party support. If you're a third-party developer, you're going to be sitting there like, what can I do to make my game bigger and better than everybody else's? You're not thinking about the console itself. You're thinking about,
right,
how can I make my game better? If you don't have a console to run what you want to do, why would you go there?
And I know the argument on the other side is, well, Nintendo's trying to separate themselves from Microsoft and Sony, which that's fine because that's part of a business. Is you don't want to, if you're trying to mirror them, then it's literally going to be, well, Sony. Obviously, you see right now with Microsoft and Sony, Sony's kicking their butt, and they're essentially the same kind of. They're doing the same kind of structure where, but Nintendo's got to make a more powerful system, and it has to be more friendly. I think the issue with third-party support, other than power being, it's still considered less powerful, it's on par with like PS. I think it's better than PS3, but barely. I think the issue is that the touchscreen. You have to actually develop games for the touchscreen, or else what's the point of it? And third-party companies are like, it's not worth the money. You don't have enough consoles on the ground to counteract what we have to pay our developers to develop this touchscreen support. We're not going to get our money back, so we're not going to develop for it.
Yeah.
So there's so many. I mean, it's so complicated. But I think Nintendo's biggest issue is they're trying to be stubborn.
I agree.
Their stubbornness is killing them.
Yeah, absolutely.
The winds of gaming are changing, and they're kind of like,
This has worked for us in the
they're
past.
They're kind of like
but
that old man that's like, back in my day, I didn't wear shoes and I walked uphill both ways in the rain. You kids these days. And it's like, no, you got to change, adapt or die.
Absolutely.
And that's the way it works.
Well, it brings it back to the point that all the gamers that played Nintendo as kids grew up, and they didn't necessarily grow up with them.
Right.
And so
they stayed where they were.
They stayed where they were.
And we're all like, Nintendo, come on. We want you to be with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, just wanted to get your... What's your favorite game of all time?
Oh, put me on the spot. My favorite game of all time. I really liked Star Wars Bounty Hunter, which I played on the GameCube.
Really?
I love that system. Yeah,
Nice,
it's one of my favorite games. I mean, a non-multiplayer game. I mean, my favorite multiplayer experience is Halo 3.
Okay.
I played that hours upon hours.
Yeah, I mean, now you're completely discredited whatsoever. But other than that, I mean...
I'm a bro gamer. What can you say?
Bro, what up, bro?
What's your KDR?
I got in Modern Warfare 3.
I don't care. I'm just kidding.
Dude, tell me. I want to know.
I got it up to 2.0.
That is insane.
And then I stopped playing because I didn't want it to go lower.
Is that good?
I don't know. Whatever, Braj.
It's pretty good. It's not bad.
All right, get the heck out of here.
All right.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're
Bye,
welcome. Thanks for having
Brandon.
me.
Bye, Brandon. Who's this guy?
Who's this guy getting back in?
I love that he stopped playing the game because he didn't want his KDR to go down.
That's a Brandon move.
Right. Okay, so I mean, we talked about like the. Is that kind of what your biggest issue is with them? Is the power in the console itself?
Yeah.
That thing.
Oh, I think that's what can be a trait. My biggest problem with them is they're too stubborn.
My biggest issue comes from the fact that even when they are aware of these decisions that they're making, like you said, they're stubborn and they will not fix it, even if it's an easy fix. My biggest complaint, 100%, you can complain about them coming out with a goofy named console. Whatever. I'll give them crap for it, but I don't really care. It doesn't affect me. The charger, lack of a charger on the new 3DS. A lot of people are complaining about it. Do I think they should have? Absolutely. I think they should have it in there. But again, it doesn't really affect me. I'm not too worried about it. But I can certainly see why people would be upset, for sure. My biggest issue is the account system. That affects me. If something ever happens to my system, it's gone. It's gone forever. There's nothing I can do. I'm an ambassador for the 3DS, the original 3DS. I have tons of free games on there. Can't transfer them over to a new one if I get it. The fact that there's nothing, keeping these things safe for me is, that's a huge turnoff.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to play your games. I want to spend my money with you, but you're not giving me any sort of insurance whatsoever. That worries me. So that's my big issue with them. What about you, sir?
I don't know. I think they are kind of in a difficult position where for a long time they've had this incredible currency of parents having confidence and trust that they can buy this thing for their kids and give it to their kids. But when you have issues like that account management issue, or you're going to go pick up the thing for your kid and it doesn't have a charging cable that you need, they're kind of eroding that trust they've built up with their consumers.
Right. And a lot of this comes from, like, Kotaku had a really, really good argue.
Had good argue.
They had a good article written about, why Nintendo does some of the things they do. And one of the big reasons is they're based out of Kyoto in Japan. Now, when we think of Japan, honestly, Brian has made the case many times that JRPGs are goofy and over the top and ridiculous. That's honestly how a lot of Americans view Japan in many cases, especially with the internet printing nothing but goofy pictures and stuff like that. Now, Kyoto to Japan is viewed the same way. So, like, that means that Kyoto is, even more set in its ways and set in its traditions.
Kyoto is
like
even
that.
More Japan than Japan.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, it's not too much of a surprise that, and I honestly, we were talking to somebody about this and they were making this argument and I didn't it didn't really click with me until I had read this article. But it does make sense, but it does not excuse it at all. You are still living in the past. You need to help. You need to, move forward. It's 2015. It's not 1990.
I think we can all agree that I think their biggest problem now is marketing.
100%.
It's horrible. First
Absolutely.
of all, I have a huge problem with you thinking you're too proud to go to, okay, I get that there's some hate for E3 and PAX and all these So Nintendo, they've decided they're not going to do that. They're not going to show stuff there. They're not going to have a press conference. They're going to do Nintendo Direct. Here's the caveat: you have to own a Nintendo system to get Nintendo Direct. I mean, I know they show them on YouTube eventually. Do that?
You can watch them streaming online. As they're happening.
Okay,
yeah.
But taking them out of that, saying we're going to do our own thing, you're losing. Unless you're
Yeah.
I honestly disagree with that.
Really?
When I heard they were doing Nintendo Directs instead, I thought it was actually a good move for right now.
Okay.
This whole conversation is about how they're falling behind Microsoft and Sony.
Just trying to figure out a way.
Why put yourself in a position where you have the chance to be overshadowed by those two?
It's all about that hype train, man.
Correct, but if you're putting on your own show that anybody can access for free,
Sure.
and look at any point and showcasing what you have, that way they're not distracted by other things going on.
Blizzard does that. BlizzCon.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, am I saying they should stay away forever? No. If they can, somehow build themselves up and put themselves back in that light, I think they should absolutely do it. If they find themselves in a position to eventually be like, you should come to this show to look at us and ignore the other two, because Sony and Microsoft come to E3 and shows like that with that mentality, and it shows.
Yeah.
They both go above and beyond to outdo each other. And Nintendo's just like, we're going to show you our stuff. If you like it, great, and let's all have fun, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, we did that E3 episode last year, and we talked about, Nintendo did great, but we were talking more about Sony and Microsoft.
Yeah.
And that's, I think they're trying to, I thought that was a good move, personally, the Nintendo Directs.
I just feel like it's kind of a white flag move. Like, well, all right.
Yeah. I'm more with Brian on this.
Because
okay, so Microsoft and Sony are just constantly trying to one up each other, and it's a vicious thing sometimes. But it's also like, Microsoft just announced this insane always online policy. Well, we're going to come out and say the exact opposite and make them look bad and have egg on their face, and then they're going to change that. And then Nintendo's just like, you guys have account management and other basic features. Well, we don't want to compete.
That's kind of what
we're
it
just
feels like.
doing our own thing.
And it feels like they're and that may be the direction they want to go. And I am not gonna say I know how to run Nintendo better than they know how to run Nintendo. But what it signifies to me is what Mark just said. We don't really want to compete because that's going to cost us money and time. We just want to do our own thing, and we'll do whatever the hell we want. But I think that's going to be
which is honestly a very Apple move.
Yes.
Apple's always kind of been like, you're going to take what we give you and you're going to like it.
But the problem is that Nintendo has lost too much of its popularity to be as Apple is. Apple's still a powerhouse in that market. Nintendo is not big enough right now to be that way, and that's my problem with them. It's like, you guys are acting like, hey, we're Nintendo, we're going to do our own thing, we're not going to compete. Okay, Sony is absolutely murdering you in the gaming scene. You can't act like that. You're going to fall way too far behind, and then what's going to happen? I'm just worried about them is all.
That's the problem with their mentality, though, is they are trying to cater towards their loyal customers, the people who are only focused on them. But we are also their customers. We love their stuff too. Does that mean they're only catering to just fanboys? Or for us, we're sitting here saying, like, we want you to do better. We want you to do better in your business, and we want you to cater to more people. So you should take these steps.
Yeah.
Are you saying we don't want to cater to you because you want us to do better? Like, how? What kind of mentality is that?
Why can't you cater to your loyal fans and to try to bring in new fans? That doesn't make that's.
And
they're
you know
not,
what? Okay.
Acting like that's mutually exclusive is pardon my French, it's asinine. If you think that those two are mutually exclusive, that you can't cater to your loyal fans and also bring other fans in,
100%
If you think that it's one or the other, you honestly need a little bit more.
A reality check?
Reality check. 'Cause
Yeah.
they're not mutually exclusive. You can do both.
Absolutely.
It's not hard.
It's like, if you don't want to compete on the graphics front, that's fine. You don't have to make the most graphically advanced games, but you could do your customers a courtesy and give them basic features that make the console more
Account
usable.
management,
Yes.
please.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
I 100% agree.
Get with the times, Nintendo.
I just, man,
Keep on making great games.
I want to buy a Wii U, and I eventually will. I know I will, because I know as soon as a new Metroid game drops or a new Zelda game drops, I'm going to shell out the money to do it. But that's going to be like 3 years after the Wii U launched.
Yeah.
So the value has to meet the value to me has to equal what I'm buying, right?
Yep.
And so it's going to take 3 years for them to.
Well, and that's per person, obviously.
But for me,
yes,
the
absolutely.
value of the Wii U has to come to the point where, look, a Zelda game's out. I value Zelda as a franchise. 3 years? 3 years from the launch of your console? 3 years from the launch of your console is when you're going to drop a Zelda and or like they have.
Oh, they waited on Mario Kart and Smash Brothers too.
Why
Yeah.
did you wait that long?
And when they said that
Why
Super
not
Mario
just
3D World came out, people thought it was going to be the new 3D Mario, like Galaxy and N64 and stuff. Nope.
why not just keep selling games for the highest selling console of the last generation until you have a bunch of Wii U games in the hopper, and then release the Wii U?
I mean, admittedly, the PS4 and the Xbox One's release or launch games were just terrible as well.
You know what though?
But
I would. This is totally, speculation on my part. I'm wondering though what the system sales versus Wii, the regular Wii. I know obviously everybody knows it was massive sales. I wonder though how the game sales were on the system, because obviously it didn't cater to hardcore gamers.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that bought it were just like, "Oh, I played Wii Bowling and that's cool. I want to get one."
Well, Wii Sports is the best-selling game of all time.
Right.
But that's because it was bundled in.
yep,
It makes me wonder how game sales actually were on that. I haven't looked at a graph on that. I haven't even thought of that.
No.
Makes me wonder though.
that's a big part of it.
So yeah, anybody else have anything else to add?
No.
We love Nintendo.
Yeah.
We truly do.
Like I
And
said, as soon as the Zelda game comes
they're
out,
just so stubborn.
I'm going to buy a Wii U. Like I know I am. I'm not one of those people who's like, I'm not buying a Wii U. I will eventually buy a Wii U, but the point is that by the time I buy this Wii U, it will have been out for 3 years.
Yeah.
You know what the worst part is? You'll still be paying full retail for those games too.
That's
'Cause
fine.
They
You know,
never
I know.
freaking lower their stupid prices.
I know. I just can't handle it. Wow. Go ahead, Mark.
Earlier, I made a comparison to Nintendo being the Apple of gaming, but I have to take that back because one of the famous quotes that Steve Jobs used to say was, "The goal of Apple is to delight our customers." And I don't feel like they're making decisions to delight their customers
Well,
right now.
I mean, right now, Apple, they come out with like.
well, you're talking about Tim Cook,
Yeah. Well,
not Steve Jobs.
Well, didn't. I mean, account
I
management.
think that's the problem though.
yeah.
Because you have iTunes, which any Apple
You
product
delight
you get,
me. Make me
Yeah.
I
delighted
think they
and
genuinely think they are though.
happy. Really?
That's the problem. Yeah, that's the mentality out there in Kyoto. Like that's kind of what the article was pointing out. Is like they think they are doing what's right because that's what worked for them, 20, 30 years ago. When it's like it's 2015.
everything changes. Yeah.
It's
Well,
not
30 years ago, we had CRT TVs.
right.
Yes.
Well, you still have one.
That's true.
CRAP.
Oh boy.
Nope. Nope.
All right. Man, that ran pretty long.
Yeah, well, it's Nintendo. It's-
True enough. I
Yeah.
got a lot to say about them, but we do love them. We really do. We just want to see them succeed. But man, they just need to pull their heads out of their collective rear ends.
yeah, we're not saying they're going out of business or anything. But
No.
They're definitely on the. And I hate to break this to people who are Nintendo fans. They're on the back burner. You talk to any gamer, they're unless you're a hardcore Nintendo fan, they're kind of an afterthought, and that's sad because they used to not be. They used to be like the gaming system.
Right, and I think Brandon, what he was saying, I think that's kind of the mentality of a lot of people who didn't grow up with Nintendo
Yeah.
and didn't play too many of their games. They look at it as a kid's console.
Yep.
Whether you believe that or not.
Yeah.
That's the mentality that a lot of people have.
And Nintendo's got to actively fight against that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Agreed. Okay, well, real quick, we're going to go ahead and go over to Matt with a quick side quest.
Good old Matt.
Hey, Frozen North hosts and fans, welcome to the upside down world that is Matt's Effect. Today, I will venture bravely into the darkest depths of the gaming podcast world to brave an encounter with one of the gaming world's most notorious, evil voices ever to invade the minds of gamers everywhere. Today, I deliver hate mail to Brian. That's right, folks. This is my top 5 reasons I hate Brian. Number 5. Brian, you convinced me to purchase World of Warcraft Warlords of Draenor. I hate you. Let me tell you something. I'm Matt. I am powerless. I used to think that there was no such thing as a gambling addiction. I don't believe I have an addictive personality. I mean, I don't fall prone to the hooks of gambling, alcohol, cigarettes, or any of those things that so many anonymous groups like to help people with. But then I played WoW, and I kind of lost 2 months of my life raiding during Burning Crusade. I literally didn't notice how much time had passed and all the events I had missed. So I had to step away, and I finally did with all my grievances for Wrath Lich King. I was able to get away. But then here comes Brian. He's reigniting the flame that is my WoW addiction, and once again I'm raiding. Thanks, Brian. Luckily, the game is fantastic. I'm really digging the whole garrison thing, and the story's top-notch. So if you can self-police yourself, I recommend picking it up again. Number 4. Brian, you put the PlayStation 4 controller as your number 1 on your list of favorite video game controllers. Look, man, this controller leaks battery life like a sieve. It dies on me so often. And the cable it comes with is only like 3 feet long, so my life is a disaster. DualShock 3 takes it from me because of that. Sorry, man. Number 3, your bald head. Not all of my grievances here have to be gaming related. Its shine pierces the laws of physics and blinds me through the microphone. It makes arguments with you so challenging because I lose myself in staring at your baldness. I object to having this handicap forced on me. 2 words, Brian. Hair plugs. Number 2. Brian, you have changed my life on BioWare with the Mass Effect series. Now look, I haven't finished the games yet, but a big part of my gaming identity is that I hate new BioWare. I've hated them since Knights of the Old Republic with their stupid gimmick of light side versus dark side. One-dimensional morality growth is a stupid idea, and I hold BioWare accountable for making it such a popular trope in Western RPGs. But enter the Mass Effect sequels. My complaints about the gimmicks are gone. The horrific Mako mechanic with the hover truck is gone, and the story and the character development is some of the best I've ever seen. Now, I have had the ending spoiled for me, and yeah, it sounds a bit silly, but as Brian says, it's about the journey, not the destination. So BioWare's back, baby! Only, I have a tough time saying that to most people I know because they never realized BioWare was gone, which makes me sad. Baldur's Gate, people. Play it. Number 1. This is the most important. You put Final Fantasy VIII on your top 5 PlayStation games list. Dude. This is a Final Fantasy game, and I love myself some Final Fantasy, but this game, just no. It does not deserve to be anywhere near a top 5 list. And yes, I know there's a community out there that attacks Final Fantasy VII fanboys all the time, saying 8's better, blah, blah, blah. And I respect the fact that y'all hold such strong opinions on this, but please have the courtesy to know that you're wrong. Look, aside from the fact that several of the base mechanics that are pretty much required to complete the game, drawing magic, junction and guardian forces, boosting summons, all those things that JJ and company talked about last time, yeah, all those are really, really bad. But beyond that, what's more important is how atrociously broken the game is. Its math sucks. What crackerjack thought it was a good idea to average your party level together to determine the level of the enemy you're fighting? So you level Squall to level 100 at the beginning of the game, and you can do that pretty easily because, it takes 1,000 experience per level no matter what, so you go all the way to 100. Then you just kill off your other 2 party members so that they don't gain experience anymore, and suddenly you're slaughtering level 40s throughout the entire game. That's dumb. A game whose most fun is found within its optional card game is no game that I would call a top 5 contender. Triple Triad is the best part of the game. It's where I spent the majority of my time, and even they managed to screw that up by introducing this stupid random rule like halfway through the game where I don't get to choose what cards I'm playing with anymore. Dumb! Okay, beyond that, the most important part here is the story. This story sucks. The plot of what's actually going on is so bad that when they finally reveal it to us of what's going on, they have to have it explained in the background of a black screen while the main character is obsessing over a girl he's fallen in love with. What is this time compression thing? Only a company like Square could create a most ridiculous villain in all of gaming. Ultimecia and time compression? Wow. Now, the parallel storytelling of 2 love stories between Laguna and Squall is actually kind of cool, but the problem is that you don't do that in a game when you already have a military academy versus First World Empire plot that descends into fighting a villain across time and space. There's too much going on here. My point is, Final Fantasy VIII is fat. Like Brian. Frozen North, this is Mass Effects. See you later.
And we're back. Thank you, Matt, for that interesting side quest.
I take exception to all those things.
It's
Solid
hate mail
defense.
for you. You have
Hey,
said bring on the hate many times.
I would just like to say to rebut,
Solid.
Okay, that's good.
There we
Good
go.
point.
Got
Yeah,
it.
Absolutely. As you can see, though, it's that simple. You ever anybody wants to send in a side quest, by all means, send it to frozenroadpodcast@gmail.com. You can edit it yourself the way Raul does, or you can just have me edit it the way Matt did. Doesn't really matter. We'll do it either way. And
If you want to hate on me, do it, because I love you.
We'd love to hear you.
Yeah.
So record your thoughts. Keep it at about 5 minutes. Just send it over, and we'll see about getting it on the show.
Yep.
All right. Back to Nintendo. So we have obviously gone over the things that irk us about them.
We went in depth a little bit about our
Right.
love for Nintendo.
We are going to kind of flip that. We're going to be doing our top 5 Nintendo exclusives. Now, this isn't specifically games made by Nintendo, even though a lot of the ones on our list are. But these are games that haven't shown up on anything else as of yet.
Yeah.
Other than Nintendo systems. I'll start. My number 5 Nintendo exclusive is totally, shockingly based on nostalgia. Completely. I know. It's hard to believe. The Secret of Evermore.
Nice.
Have you played it?
I think so. I've played quite a few. Hold on. In my defense, I've played quite a few
Good pick.
SNES
I know what that is.
RPGs. I emulated them back in the day. Don't arrest me. It was like 20 years ago.
I don't think I've ever played Secret of Evermore, but I might have, but I don't remember.
There's some statute of limitations, right?
Oh, wow. Secret of Evermore, you are basically a young boy, and you have your dog as your companion, and you're going through 4 different worlds created from the imaginations of different people related to this scientist who created this massive world. Each world is completely different from the last. Your dog actually evolves and changes with you. You level up. It plays a lot like Secret of Mana. You're running around just fighting stuff, action RPG style, and you use alchemy instead of magic, which is really cool. Just a really, really fun game, and I think I love it so much because I love Secret of Mana so much, and it's very, very similar in that vein. So that's my number 5, Secret of Evermore.
Music composed by Jeremy Sewell.
There you go. Mark, why don't you go next?
My number 5 is, I almost said top 5,
I have no doubt.
is Ace Attorney.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, good
I've
one.
never played them.
I am ashamed to admit it, but I used to be really into the Detective Conan anime series.
Man, I love that show.
So, you like it?
I do. Yeah, man, we've talked about this before. I've told you a million times.
Whatever.
I like
You
it.
didn't like it like I did.
That's probably true. Yeah,
I've watched possibly 500 episodes.
that's insane. No, I've seen maybe
so,
15.
So it's a natural transition for me to go from Detective Conan to the Phoenix Wright series.
Yep.
Or I should say the Ace Attorney series, because some of them don't involve Phoenix Wright.
Right.
It's just a fantastic game. It's a visual novel, which is kind of... The 3DS and the DS are the perfect console for visual novels. That's why there's so many on them as opposed to other platforms.
Do you play like where you yell into the mic?
Usually not.
Have you
Usually
done it before?
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
there you
fun.
go.
It's not... Sometimes you're like, why didn't it do anything?
Brian hasn't played it, so I'll explain it. Basically, like you know what Ace Attorney is.
Yep.
The games are. So you're playing as a lawyer. You're in a courtroom and stuff like that. And you're more of a detective than anything else. But you can either push a little button that says objection when you want to object to something, or you can yell into the microphone objection, and it actually registers on there.
Objection!
That's
Hold
Mark.
it!
That's Mark.
Yep. So
Mark's-
it's like I've always wondered, like if you're like in a crowded airport or something like that.
Objection!
Oh, good stuff. So I love those games though.
They're really awesome.
Yep. Anything else to say on them?
That's it.
Well, alrighty. Brian, number 5, sir.
Barrels, bananas, crocodiles, bipedal lizard evilman. I am talking about Donkey Kong. The Donkey Kong series is fantastic. Mm-hmm. Played it. I remember when it came out for the Super Nintendo. The graphics were they did that like almost claymation looking graphics. I can't remember. I don't know the technical term for it or anything.
No, it looked like it.
Yeah,
I know what
but,
you're talking
woo! That's all I have to say is barrels, bananas, crocodiles, bipedal evil lizardman.
Even by today's standards, those graphics look
It
really
looks
good
great.
for the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, Donkey and Diddy Kong. Had the same kind of structure as Mario, where the maps were like you pick the level and you go play it, but
Those
with the
mine
Donkey
carts
Kong
level.
the
those
mine
minecart
cart.
level,
I should
man.
have added that mine carts. Anyway, that's Donkey Kong series number 5, big time series.
Did you ever play Donkey Kong 64?
Nope. Oh yeah. Oh yes, I did. Yeah, the one where
Really underappreciated.
it was basically the same. Wasn't it very similar to Mario 64?
Yep.
Just yeah.
I loved it. Except you could be different characters and
Yes.
they all had different powers and stuff. Really didn't get the attention it deserved.
No.
And I would love to see it on Virtual Console one day. Nintendo.
That's not happening.
You're probably right.
You loved that game? Never.
Man, that's a whole nother issue we could get into their Virtual Console service. No, we're not doing it. We're not doing it. All right. Number 4. My number 4 is Xenoblade Chronicles.
Isaac just clapped.
Again, not a Nintendo game per se, but it's a Nintendo exclusive.
Yeah.
And man, I mean, I've talked about this game before. Gorgeous on the Wii. The characters themselves, not a huge fan of the way they look, but the environments, the exploration, and you can see clearly on the new one coming out on X, the new trailer that they showed, where it showed like the zones you're walking through. Oh my gosh,
It's gonna be good.
unbelievable!
Yep.
So if you have not played this game, it is hands down the best game on the Wii, for sure. So that's my number 4, Xenoblade Chronicles. From here on out, it's all Nintendo. Mark?
My number 4 is Star Wars Rogue Squadron. To me, this is my Star Fox. I never owned a Star Fox game. I've played them a little bit, but to me, this is the flight game for Nintendo consoles. Fantastic. I didn't own it originally. I used to just find any excuse possible to go to my neighbor's house and play their copy. I'd just go and knock on the door and be
64?
like... Yep. And interestingly, it came out 6 months before Episode 1 came out, and it had the Naboo Starfighter in it. But it was like locked in the code until after the movie came out, and then they released the code so you could unlock it and play with it. Man, fantastic game series. I always loved flying around in the Y-Wing. That Y-Wing.
That why we dropping bombs, huh?
Yeah, dude. Y-Wing's my favorite.
The bombers. They're the Alliance bombers.
Exactly, yep.
I was an A-Wing fan.
It's such a cool game because it's all the major fights.
I loved X-Wings. that's the Star Wars guy in me.
What about the B-Wing?
I was too hipster
Mark.
to like the X-Wing.
Mark, how about
X-Wing's mainstream.
Mark,
I'm going with the Y-Wing.
What about the B-Wing?
B-Wing's all right.
What?
It's no Y-Wing.
Yeah, how it like folds into like an X, or like a upright with the two, and then it folds back. Oh my god, no.
The Y-Wing is the best.
No, the Y-Wing is slow, and all it does is drop bombs.
So you had all the major battles from the movies, and the coolest part was once you had played through the game and done certain challenges, you could use any craft you wanted in any challenge, which is fantastic.
Yeah, great game.
Definitely a great
One of my
series.
And
favorites.
apparently coming to PC, so maybe I can't even have it on my list.
Woo! Well, right now you can.
There we go.
So there you go. All right. Brian, number 4, sir.
All right, my number 4, the carts of the Mario.
Oh, man.
Mario Kart. I mean, that's one of the most... I probably spent more time getting mad at my brothers and beating up my friends and throwing controllers than playing...
Even if you're not a racing game fan.
And back when you're kids, you didn't understand rubber band mechanics. So you were always like, I'm way out ahead. What? How did you catch me? But, oh, man, all the power-ups you got and, like, that red shell. When you knew your friend had a red shell and he was behind you. No. Oh, God.
Mario Kart is one of those games that does tense situations so well.
Yeah.
You could be in first the entire time and somebody could snatch it from you right at the last second. You could be in last the entire time and still end up getting really lucky and catapulting yourself into first place. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and then they came out in Mario Kart 64 with the battle mode, where you just had balloons around your cart and would go around an arena. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah, that was fantastic.
Yeah, that one Mario Kart series, number 4, I don't think it will ever fall off my top 5 just because that series brought so many memories.
Have you played the new one?
No.
Not yet? Oh, man. I
know.
move into my new place.
We got definitely playing Mario Kart. You bet.
It's incredible. Like I said earlier, one of my games of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My number 3, Brian, if I were to pitch a video game idea to you and I said,
Go.
hey, we're going to make a game about a plumber who fights a dinosaur
Gotcha.
to save a girl in a pink dress.
Right on. And he's Italian descent?
Yep.
I would say that's weird. It's very Japanese of you.
Yeah, right. However, the Super Mario Brother franchise, which is my number 3, does that in spades. I had a really hard time picking like which aspect, because at first I was like, well, I want the open world Mario games like Mario 64, Sunshine, Galaxy 2, that kind of stuff. And then I was like, well, I can't forget Super Mario RPG. Oh my gosh, Mario Kart's in there too. Oh my god, there's so many good Mario games.
Mario franchise.
And granted, I'm not a big fan of like the 2D ones, other than the old school ones, like Super Mario Brothers 3, Super
All
Mario
right.
World.
Nice.
I love those games. Don't get me wrong, but like the new Super Mario Brothers games, I'm not big on, just because they're. Me and 2D.
Yeah.
I think 2D should be left in the past. But man, just the series as a whole, the franchise as a whole, is just spectacular. He is he the most iconic video game character, you
Yes.
think?
Yep.
I mean, and he's a freaking plumber.
Should we ask Brandon?
He likes
I
spaghetti.
think everybody on the planet knows what Mario is. If you were to say Mario Brothers, no matter what you are, you know that's a sign of like, Yep.
And to be able to take a subject like that and turn it into the most iconic video game character, that shows that you know what you're doing, at least at some point in time.
Yeah.
But Mario Brothers franchise, I can't say enough good things about it. I always look forward to the new stuff. They just released Galaxy 2 as a download for like $10 on the Wii, and I just picked that up. So can't wait to dive into it because I didn't get the chance to pick it up on the Wii. So yeah, that's my number 3, Super Mario Brothers franchise.
French fries.
French fries.
Want some French fries for
Super
that?
Mario Brothers French fries. I hate you guys.
That's the title of the episode right there.
Yeah.
Mark, your number 3 is similar,
It's a huge departure from yours.
right?
It's Super Mario / New Super Mario, which you specifically said you don't like.
Right.
So now I'm offended.
No, he's offended.
I mean, you said most of what I wanted to say, but anecdote. When I got my 3DS, the first thing you guys told me was you got to go pick up Pokemon XY. And I went to the store and said, "Nope. I'm buying New Super Mario Bros. too because this game looks incredible."
And it was good.
And it's fantastic. It's just like the old games. I can't tell you how many hours I've sunk into that series. The classic 2D side-scrolling, block-busting, jumping. Fantastic. I'm going to keep it short. There you go.
There you go.
All right. Brian, number 3, sir.
My number 3, honestly, I'm taking an exception to both of you. Not on any of your lists.
I wanted to. Believe
Seriously.
me. This would have been my honorable mention.
But I said
Seriously. This is Star Fox. Okay, Star Fox. All right, Andros,
Yep.
the evil face of a monkey.
Oh, was there a Y-Wing in that game? Oh, there wasn't.
I don't even know how to respond to what he's saying right
I'm
now.
just staring at him.
I agree with you, 100%.
Andros, you got the monkey-faced evil wizard, and you got Slippy, Falco, Fox McCloud. And what's the pig? What was the pig?
Pig.
I thought there was a pig.
There's
No,
a rabbit.
Rabbit. Peppy.
Peppy.
Yeah.
Full barrel roll. Pig.
Pig. Whatever. The pig was in the anyway.
Yeah, Brian's a fan of Star
Oh
Fox.
my god! When this first came out for the Super Nintendo, and then obviously the N64 version, I called it the Independence Day level, where it was free reign to fly around, but there was like
Those
this
are the
big,
best ones.
Oh my goodness! Star Fox series is I'm going to admit something to you guys right now. I even like Star Fox Adventures. Was the one
I have not played it.
that was one of the first games I picked up for the GameCube. Everyone says it's a complete and utter disgrace. It's basically like a Zelda meets Star. There was Star Fox missions in it, but it was Zelda structured, where you got heart containers and power ups. Yeah, very very weird departure. I mean, you played as Fox McCloud, actually running around.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people like the game. I personally love it. I just love the Star Fox franchise, man. Fox McCloud's such a cool character.
I agree.
Just me, I'm a sci-fi nerd, so anything that's sci-fi-ish, I glom onto. So, Star Fox franchise is going to be one of my favorites for all time.
Heck yeah. Number 2. My number 2 is the Legend of Zelda series. But that shows up later on somebody else's list.
My number 2 is also The Legend of Zelda, just to get it out of the way, and it's number 1 for somebody. So,
Hey, my number
that
2.
be?
yeah.
My number 2 is Metroid, and it shows up later on someone else's list.
All right.
Well, what number possibly could it be?
I don't know. Maybe it might be your number 1.
Oh,
All right. So my number 1 is the Pokemon series.
nice.
I freaking adore these games. Like, I will admit that I don't always finish them. I don't even always buy them when they come out because they come out, every couple of years. They're very, very similar. I'll give it that. But honestly, they find new tweaks and new little additions to throw into every game, and the new ones that are coming out are really, really great intros into the series.
You and I tore through the X and Y.
Yeah.
We just played that nonstop.
Absolutely. And that was your first one, right?
That was my first. Well, that was the first one I ever beat.
Okay.
I'd played other ones, but that was the first one I ever whoa, this is fun.
Yeah, because they really improved upon it. They just did a really, really great job improving on everything. I can't say enough good things about the series. I love it. I mean, this is also definitely another example where people look at it and say, like, oh, it's for kids. I honestly, you know what? I don't say what you want. I love it. I still have a great time with it, and it's my number one Nintendo franchise, or number one Nintendo exclusive, Pokemon.
Yep.
Mark's number one is the same as Brian and I's number two.
Man, the Legend of Zelda series.
Yeah.
How can that be anything but your number one?
Zelda was an awesome hero. He had a sword.
This is like when you guys didn't put the Master
Almost as
Sword.
cool as Metroid.
It was like when you didn't put the Master Sword on your guys' lists.
I did.
Well, it wasn't high enough up. Whatever, man. Oh my gosh.
Mark, speak more on the Legend of Zelda.
I mean, number one, Chief.
Now I'm nervous. Now I'm on the spot.
Episode 55.
I feel
and
like
he's
I'm
nervous.
on the spot. I mean, the hero of time. The fact that the entire series is a self-contained story, but it's also part of an ongoing story, and there's the multiple. Where it breaks out into the child timeline and the adult timeline,
and the Dead Link timeline.
The Dead Link timeline. Yep. I just love the lore in this game, and love the gameplay as well.
That's my favorite part.
Classic hack and slash game. I mean, if this game didn't exist, so many other games that have come since then wouldn't exist either.
I think the lore is tacked on, and it was just given to just appease fans of the series. I don't really take it seriously. I think each game separately is just fine.
Mark, I'm on your boat here. What is he saying?
I'm sorry. It feels tacked on to me.
Look at Mark's face.
Feels tacked on to me. Anyways, the gameplay is spectacular. Each game is just a wonderful, wonderful adventure to play through. It really is one of those games that just defines adventure. Because you're going through dungeons, you're taking out enemies. If I had one thing that I would change, it would be just give me some experience points, man. Ugh, I hate that I kill stuff and I don't get anything for it.
You get rupees.
No, that's not worth it.
You get little hearts.
Because you don't always. Sometimes you kill stuff and you don't get anything.
You get a little
That's
bomb.
annoying.
The story was not tacked on.
Oh, there it is. He's still on that.
How could you say that?
It was tacked on.
No, I really enjoyed the way.
Oh, so they had that story in mind from the first one?
Probably not.
Oh, well.
But I still enjoyed like the way you organically discover that there is a continuity, because they don't tell you from the beginning of the series. They don't say this is a sequel. This is what happens next. But you start to notice, like, wait a minute.
There's threads.
This map, this overworld, is strikingly similar to the overworld in this game, which is the same as this overworld. And you begin to realize that there is a continuity.
It's Thready Mogretti.
Right.
Oh no, absolutely. Once they established that, like 6 games into the series, the ones that followed did come into that. They didn't establish it until a while into the series.
I don't know.
It's true. Sorry,
I'm offended.
I have no doubt, but I'm okay with that.
I'm going to go research that, and then I'm going to be proven wrong.
That's fine. Or I could be proven wrong. I don't know too much about. I have the book. I just haven't really read it cover to cover yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's freaking Zelda, man.
Yeah.
That we've talked about the original Nintendo. You buy that game, you see the gold cartridge.
You know it's special.
Absolutely. So, okay, my number 2, Brian's number 2, and Mark's number 1.
Yeah.
The Legend of Zelda.
Yeah. My number 1 though, and no one.
Mark has it on his list.
I put it at number 1.
No.
Which I'm ashamed.
At least I put it at number 2.
Correct.
I have not played any of the games.
This is the Metroid series. We got Samus Aran, the fantastic, the flamboyant female bounty hunter.
Who's that? Metroid's enemy? That
So
what kind of gun
let me
does
just,
Metroid
let me
use?
just break this down for you. You got a story where you've got the back in the day, by the way, very progressive female main character. Obviously, you don't know right away,
Right.
But you got this bounty hunter who's hunting space pirates. Space pirates. Okay, that's all I gotta say. I win the argument. Space pirates. It's space and pirates. Like Ninja Space Pirates is even better.
I've only played the second one on Game Boy,
Gotcha.
so that's why it's not on my list.
I've played through Metroid and Super Metroid, and I've played quite a bit of Metroid Prime.
And there have been a lot of Metroid. And what's funny is with the whole series is they completely redid the series with Metroid Prime. You went from a side scroller, what they like to call a Metroidvania scroller, where there's no like set path. It's you can pick where you want to go,
Right.
And get power ups. To a first person, same kind of concept. Still getting power ups, still going to different sections, and it still holds up. You know what I mean? And a lot of people have said that Super Metroid was revolutionary. That it was one of Nintendo's like triumph.
Crowning achievements.
Absolutely. I mean, there's so
Yeah.
many though for Nintendo.
No,
because they were there
I-
at the beginning.
But I've read a lot of people say that Super Metroid
right.
was the peak of the mountain. That was the most well designed game ever conceived at that time, obviously, and obviously spawned what we call the Metroidvania series.
Right.
So its cachet is well known, but God, I just love. Like I said, I'm a sci-fi nerd. So you put a a giant suited woman. Or a suited, mech suited woman with a blaster for a hand in space, hunting down space
Her
pirates.
parents must have been like on something and
Yeah.
named her Metroid though.
And you've got these parasitic, aliens called Metroids that just want to suck energy. It's so good. It's so good.
Oh my gosh!
So good.
I
Metroid.
like how Nintendo names their series after not the main character.
Yeah.
Did you
Just to
guys
confuse people.
Did you guys know that you can find Samus Aran in Mario RPG?
No. Is it a cool cameo?
She's like sitting in the inn in the Mushroom Kingdom. You go in and she just like says like one line to you, but she's sitting there.
Does she say Metroid?
She's not. No. I think she says something about like she's lost or something like that.
Like, I'm looking for Ridley.
The first time I read that you could find her in there, I was like, sweet, can I get her as a party member?
Yeah, and let me just.
But no.
But to end my number one, let me just describe one of the main antagonists in this movie. He's some sort of like alien dragon. Like he's like an alien dragon space pirate.
Ridley or something?
Ridley.
Right?
Yeah. Just when you first fight him in Super Metroid, and he's like, the first scene we have to escape the ship. God, he's just such a cool looking character. He's a dragon, a space dragon.
Well, what about Mother Brain?
Mother Brain, the last scene where the Metroid powers you up and you boom, boom, and you, like knock its head back. Honestly, JJ, if you've never played Super Metroid, honestly, I know you don't like side scrollers, but the boss battles in that game were some of the most epic boss battles I'd ever played up to that point.
I can get it for free through Club Nintendo
Seriously,
before it closes.
It
I may do that.
And just the way the world feels so interconnected
Yeah.
in those games. Like in Metroid Prime, where you go to this planet and like the level 10, like something you're going to go do in 10 hours, the door to that's right there.
Yeah.
Where you started. You just have to go through and do this other stuff first and then come back.
It's such a when you play it, I know you don't like side scrollers, but you'll see kind of whoa, this came out in 1996 or 4 or 3
Something
or
like that,
2.
yeah.
Yeah. You're like, whoa, my goodness. So anyway, the last thing I want to say about that is Goku.
Goku?
Yeah, let's cut that.
All right.
I don't know. That was
nope,
random.
not cutting that.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Okay. That's our top 5 Nintendo exclusives. And, I mean, the name of this episode says it all. It's because we love you, Nintendo. It
We
really
do.
is.
I love you.
We do.
And I mean, now we know about Super Mario French fries.
Yeah. I love you, Nintendo, but please release a Metroid game, a Zelda game, and a Star Fox game. You already did Mario Kart, so it's checked off the list. So, but just come on.
Come on. We're waiting.
Come on.
All right. Well, as we said, in 2 weeks we will not be recording because I will be on a cruise.
Man,
But I, for
have
one,
fun.
Stoked.
I, for one, will miss all of you.
You don't have to miss me. You can listen to
I'm not
me
talking
on
about
the-
you. I'm talking about like all of you out there in listening land.
He's waving his hand.
Mark, real quick, why don't you remind everybody what you're going to be doing?
Check out the TV podcast titled Fool's Lantern Podcast on iTunes. You can also find us on Twitter at Fool's Lantern.
When he says TV podcast, he doesn't mean like video.
Oh, yeah. I confused you by saying that.
Yep.
Podcast about television. It will be all audio.
Very cool. Good stuff. The Fool's Lantern.
Right.
So make sure to look for that in about 2 weeks. Well, with that, I don't have anything else. Do you?
That's it.
Nothing.
Right. All right. Cool. With that, this is the Frozen North signing off. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you both for being here. Thank you, Brandon, for giving us a few minutes of your time. Good stuff.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Nintendo, for helping our childhoods grow. Thank you, Matt, for doing your side quest. And thank you.
And thank you for the souvenirs you haven't purchased for me yet.
Yeah, huh?
Yep.
Sure. Oh, man. All right. With that, this is Frozen North signing off. My name is JJ.
I'm Mark.
Brian is my name.
And as always, keep on gaming.
Our theme song was made available through the Creative Commons Attribution license by Ziphoid. The song title is Radical Fanfare.